Have you ever heard a question that sounded innocent, but deep inside, something told you it was wrong? A gentle tone, a harmless smile, and yet the moment you answered, you realized you had just stepped into a game you could never win. This is the art of the liar. They don't just lie with words, they lie with questions. And if you can't see through the disguise, you'll get trapped doubting yourself, apologizing for things you never did, until you start fighting against yourself instead of them. The ancient Romans knew this well. Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, they warned us. A liar rarely attacks head-on. They plant tiny seeds of doubt, and then they wait for you to destroy yourself. 2,000 years later, the tactic hasn't changed. It's only become more subtle. In today's video, we'll break down the 5 most dangerous questions liars ask to manipulate and control you. More importantly, I'll show you how the Stoics would respond calmly, clearly, unshakably. And by the end, you'll have the tools to ensure you'll never be anyone's pawn again. So, stay with me until the end. And if you find value here, consider subscribing, not for me, but for yourself, so you never miss the next lesson that could sharpen your mind and strengthen your spirit. Question 1. Why are you being so sensitive? At first, it sounds harmless, almost like concern, but don't be fooled. This is the very first bullet fired by the gaslighter, because hidden inside that question is not curiosity, it's accusation. What they're really saying is, you're weak. You're imagining things. The problem isn't me, it's you. Pause for a moment. Think back. Have you ever been in a relationship where the moment you pointed out something wrong, you were brushed aside with a laugh? Oh, you're just too sensitive. Or maybe at work, you questioned the ethics of a decision, only to hear, don't overreact. It's just business. That's not concern. That's a weapon. Because what they're trying to do is strip you of your greatest defense, your awareness. They want to take your sensitivity, which is really a radar for danger, and twist it into a weakness. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Manipulators know this. They plant seeds of doubt in your imagination until you begin to question yourself, until you start believing you're the problem. But here's the truth. Sensitivity is not weakness. Sensitivity is awareness. The person who feels deeply often sees the cracks in the wall, long before anyone else notices. A financial analyst who spots small inconsistencies in the books, mocked as paranoid, but later proves a multi-million-dollar fraud. A wife who senses a subtle change in her husband's behavior, dismissed as overreacting, only to discover the betrayal months later. In both cases, sensitivity was not a curse. It was the early warning system. So what would a Stoic do? Marcus Aurelius once said, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change, for it is truth that I seek, not victory." A person who truly values you will never shame your awareness. Only those hiding something fear your perception. So next time someone throws the line, "Why are you being so sensitive?" don't get angry. Don't defend. Simply look at them and calmly reply, "I'm not being sensitive. I'm being observant. Does that make you uncomfortable?" One sentence, and you'll watch as the mask begins to slip. Question 2. You trust me, right? It sounds so gentle, so innocent. But beneath the surface, this is not a question. It's a trap. Because anyone who demands trust instead of earning it has already revealed their hand. Think about it. A trustworthy person doesn't need to ask for your faith. Their actions speak louder than words. Day after day, consistency builds trust. But when someone looks you in the eye and insists, "You trust me, right?" what they're really saying is this: don't think, don't question, just hand me the keys to your mind. Epictetus warned us, It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Liars understand this truth. They use that question to shut down your curiosity, to make you feel guilty for being cautious, to convince you that asking for proof makes you disloyal. But caution is not betrayal. Caution is wisdom. Think of the business partner who won't show you the numbers, but leans in and says, "Trust me." Or the lover who hides their phone, yet repeats, "Don't you trust me?" They're not building trust. They're demanding blind faith. And blind faith is the breeding ground of betrayal. So how would a Stoic respond? Not with panic, not with defensiveness, but with calm detachment. This is apatheia, the Stoic discipline of not letting emotion override reason. When faced with the words, "You trust me, right?" Pause, breathe, and reply. Trust is earned through consistency. Are you asking me to ignore my judgment? That single line flips the entire frame, because now the spotlight is on them, not on you. A liar will stumble, change the subject, or lash out. But a person of integrity, they won't be offended. They'll simply keep showing you, through their actions, that they are worthy of trust. Remember, trust is not a gift handed out under pressure. It is a fortress built stone by stone, through time, truth, and consistency. And the Stoic never forgets. To give away that fortress too quickly is to surrender your peace. Question 3. Are you accusing me of something? This one is clever. It looks like a simple question, but it's actually a shield, a way to flip the frame and put you on trial. Here's how it works. You raise a concern. You notice something doesn't add up. You ask a question, and suddenly, instead of answers, you get a sharp counterattack. Wait, are you accusing me of something? Now, without realizing it, you're no longer the observer. You're the villain. The spotlight is off their behavior and burning down on you. This tactic forces you into defense mode. You rush to explain yourself. You backpedal. You say things like, "No, that's not what I meant." And in that moment, you've lost your power. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best answer to anger is silence." But silence, in Stoicism, does not mean surrender. It means refusing to play the game on someone else's terms. Think about a courtroom. If the guilty can make the judge apologize, the trial collapses. That's exactly what this question is designed to do. So how do you respond? With stillness, with composure. The next time someone snaps, "Are you accusing me of something?" Don't rush to fill the silence. Hold your ground. Maintain eye contact. Wait 2, maybe 3 seconds. And then calmly say, "Should I be?" It's just 3 words. But those 3 words flip the pressure back where it belongs. They pierce the mask. Because liars expect panic. They never expect power. Real-world examples. A boss confronted about missing funds. "Are you accusing me of stealing?" A partner questioned about secrecy. "Are you accusing me of cheating?" In both cases, the goal is the same: to turn your search for truth into an attack you must defend. But the Stoic refuses to be baited. He knows that truth does not panic. And wisdom does not apologize for observation. Remember this: the one who asks, "Are you accusing me?" is often revealing more than they realize. Question 4. Would I ever lie to you? This one is poison wrapped in velvet. It sounds tender, almost wounded, as if you've insulted them simply by doubting. But ask yourself this: why would someone need to ask such a question unless they already sensed you were close to the truth? Would I ever lie to you is not really a question. It's theater. It's a performance designed to paint them as noble, and you as cruel for even imagining otherwise. It's not about honesty. It's about guilt. Because if they can make you feel guilty for doubting, you'll stop asking. You'll silence your instincts, and you'll hand them exactly what they want. Blind trust. But the Stoics remind us, truth is never offended by scrutiny. Seneca wrote, "If it is not true, do not say it. If it is not right, do not do it." A person of integrity doesn't need to convince you they're incapable of lying. They let their actions speak, day after day, without fanfare. Think about real life. The partner who hides their messages, then says, "Would I ever lie to you?" The colleague who dodges accountability, but insists, "Come on, would I really lie?" The more they plead innocence, the more you should question what lies beneath. So how would a Stoic respond? Not by taking the bait, not by scrambling to reassure. Instead, with calm clarity. The next time someone asks, "Would I ever lie to you?" Pause. Let the silence work. And then reply, "That's not the question. The question is, would I know if you did?" In that instant, you shift the power. Because liars thrive in fog. They want you blinded by doubt. But your response switches on the floodlight. And once the light is on, the shadows can no longer hide them. Remember, honest people don't fear questions. Only liars do. So, never confuse a performance of innocence with the reality of truth. Question 5. Can't we just move on? This is the last card in the liar's deck. The desperation play. When denial fails, when distraction fails, they turn to exhaustion. Can't we just move on? On the surface, it sounds like peace, like closure. But look deeper. It's not about resolution. It's about escape. What they're really saying is, "I don't want accountability. I don't want to face the truth. I just need you too tired to keep digging." And that's how many lies survive. Not because the liar outsmarts the truth, but because the truth seeker grows weary and gives up. The Stoics knew this tactic well. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Notice he never added, "unless it's inconvenient." For the Stoic, truth has no expiration date. It does not fade just because someone wants to move on. Think of real life. A company caught in scandal, the leaders beg employees, "Let's not dwell on the past, let's focus on the future." A spouse exposed in betrayal, "Why keep talking about it? Let's move forward." But in both cases, the plea isn't for healing, it's for silence. It's to bury what still festers in the dark. So, how does the Stoic respond? Not with rage, not with endless argument, but with steady resolve. When someone asks, "Can't we just move on?" you breathe and calmly answer, "I'll move on when I understand what happened, not before." That single sentence anchors you in truth. It tells the liar you cannot be rushed, that your peace is built on clarity, not on fatigue. Liars hate this because they thrive on your exhaustion. But when you refuse to surrender, when you stand calmly in certainty, their game is over. Remember, moving on is not about speed. It's about honesty. And only when the truth is faced can peace truly begin. Stoic thinking to avoid manipulation. Liars thrive on emotion. They don't need facts. They don't need logic. They only need you to lose your balance. They'll make you feel guilty for asking questions. They'll shame you as too sensitive when you notice the cracks. And when guilt and shame don't work, they'll exhaust you until you're too tired to keep searching for truth. That's the battlefield of the manipulator. Not truth, not reason, but emotion. And this is exactly where Stoicism offers a shield. Epictetus taught, "Some things are in our control, others are not." This single distinction is the foundation of freedom. When you know what belongs to you and what doesn't, you cannot be enslaved by their tactics. So, when they try to guilt you, remember, their feelings are not your responsibility. When they accuse you of being too sensitive, remember, awareness is a strength, not a weakness. And when they try to wear you down, remember, time itself is neutral. Truth has no deadline. The Stoic doesn't react at the liar's pace. He observes. He breathes. He chooses his response with precision, as if holding the sword of reason steady in the middle of chaos. Imagine standing in a storm. Winds howl, rain lashes, thunder roars, but inside you remain unmoved. That's the Stoic state of mind. Calm when others lose control. Clear when others are blinded. Because here's the secret manipulators never expect. Their greatest weapon only works if you give them your reaction. Take that away, and the weapon shatters in their hands. The Stoic knows. Silence can be strength. Observation can be power. Detachment can be liberation. So the next time someone tries to twist your perception, don't rush. Don't panic. Simply ask yourself, is this within my control or outside of it? And with that single question, you reclaim your freedom. Calm, clear, unshakable. That's how Stoic thinking breaks every chain of manipulation. Conclusion. You now know the 5 dangerous questions liars use to manipulate. Each one is a move on the chessboard. Each one is a trap, but you are no longer a pawn. You are the player. The Stoic does not need to shout. He does not need to rage. He simply sits steady, gazes into truth, and lets the liar reveal themselves. Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius. They all knew the same reality. The man who sees clearly is dangerous, not because he is violent, but because he cannot be controlled. So remember, you are not cruel for having standards. You are not harsh for seeking truth. You are not weak for noticing deception. You are awake. And in a world of shadows, the awake are feared. Choose clarity. Choose reason. Walk as a Stoic warrior, calm, observant, unshakable. If this message speaks to you, tap like, subscribe to the Stoic Habit, and share it with someone who needs it. And in the comments, write just 3 words: I choose clarity.